You heard someone once say, never ask for an investigation check because that's where the role play ends, which I found interesting. I think that the most useful thing about an investigation check is that it gives the dungeon master a few seconds to think of something worth finding. My own theory at the table is that if there's an investigation check happening, it means that the player, the party, has asked about something that wasn't thought of in advance, which I think is fair. Because if you think about it, like if you put a shelf in the room, and on that shelf are a series of bottles and a little chest, and a fish bowl and a stack of books, you know, there's a pretty good chance when you describe all of that and they say, "Hey, can I check out the books?" If it's something that you put there on purpose, you're going to tell them what they see. And if they say, "Okay, well, what are the books?" You're going to go, "Okay, sure, give me an investigation." Well, why on earth would there be? It's because you got to think of what kind of books are there, right? Yeah, I think that there are of course legitimate uses for any check, but I think investigation gets overused. Uh, Honestly, for a weird reason, or at least for my biased reason, I think it's overused because a lot of people, including myself, were influenced by how Matt Mercer runs his game, and I don't think he's a very investigation heavy DM. I think he's a um, an adventure encounter design, uh, world building, um, obviously role playing and character based. Like he's all of those things to an amazing degree, but there aren't that many locations that I can recall. I mean, I watched only about 50 or 60 episodes of Critical Role before I bailed, but I don't think there were that many situations where, you know, what is this place? What did they do here? What did they leave behind? How did that happen? Just don't think it happened all that often. I don't think people I don't think I saw a lot of examples of how to do that sort of stuff. Yeah, how do you investigate? Is a good question. How do you do what you're asking to do in general? I think is a good. And I think he's using, yeah, Shweens. I think he's also using those the same way. Sometimes to just buy himself a few seconds, but sometimes there's also another way, another meta way that perception is used, which is to actually generate something. At least that's how it works in my mind. So if somebody says like, you know, do I spot anybody on the horizon? As I look out, kind of shield my eyes from the light and I look out, do I see anybody approaching? It's like, yeah, give me a perception check. If you have an excellent perception check, I mean, first of all, if you don't, well, that's easy. It's like, no, you know what? It looks pretty calm as far as you can tell. Nobody's on the way. But if you have an excellent perception check, that's gonna be inspiration for me to at least take a few seconds to go like, ooh, what could there be? What would be interesting for you to spot? What would be an exciting thing to see? To some extent, what players focus on, I think it's okay to let them unknowingly sort of generate things, obviously through the filter of what makes sense in the world according to us. But yeah, it's like, oh, hey, let's focus over there. But that's a really tricky, like, moment to moment thing where sometimes it's the case, other times it's not. Yeah, all of this is really fuzzy and interesting, though. It'd be fun to try to. I need to think more about some of these ideas and how to describe them more, but it's a fun topic. In this case, in what I'm writing here, the plan is to have the challenge is in piecing together the story, not in finding the things worth looking at.